You can just see a piece of the old bearing stuck in the sidewall there. This is an axle off some sort of forklift, and the bearings have let go and got a bit of a mess down there as well, but we'll start with this one first. Just dug a bit of bearing out of that hole. Done some damage. Oh well, we'll keep going. So what I've done here is I've made some bushes. I started off with a 60mm solid bar, bored out the centre and the outside to dimensions. I've given it about a 3 thou press fit, which took all 20 tons of my jack to put in, so they're not going anywhere. That one was, there was more damage on this housing, so I had to make a bigger bush to fit in there. And I pressed that bearing in, which is quite nice. The original hole for the grease nipple was fine. This one got damaged, so I've set it up on the mill at an angle and machined a new through hole, threaded it, M6 in this case, to fit the grease nipple. Again, the bush was about a 3 thou fit. Pressed in with a hydraulic jack, an air over hydraulic jack, and then that would originally you make the bush the correct size on the inside, but when you press it in it shrinks it, and that allows us to come in with a hone and very gently creep up to the correct size for the bush to be able to press in. Now these are a very light bush. You don't want much of a crush on these, so they just literally want to slide in. Keep them nice and square and slide them in there, and then when that's pressed in there, the pin will go through the two of them, and that rotates nicely. Now the hard part of the whole job is keeping that pin and that pin perfectly in line, or this will not turn. It only needs to be slightly out. So you've got to machine the two holes in the same operation, really, in the same setup on the mill anyway. I'm just trying to find my boring bar. Oh, where is it? What I did for that was I took a piece of EN24T, which is a high tensile engineering steel, and I turned the end down to fit into my boring head, and then a through hole and a threaded hole for a grub screw, two of, corresponding with where the bearings are. This was held in a vertical position, and this boring bar would overhang onto the mill here, and then I could drill one hole, the top hole and the bottom hole, concentrically. And yeah, I think I've got a little bit of video of that. The boring head I used in this instance, I do have several, but this is a Wallhopter number 4, I believe, this one. I do have bigger and I do have smaller for the jobs that need them. And in this case, my boring bar was in the centre there, fitted like that, and then I could adjust the diameter of the cut by adjusting the boring bar. And if you've never used one of these boring bars, I would advise you to get one. They are superbly accurate, and you can make the minutest of alterations in diameter very, very simply. It's very easy to use. Very nice. Very nice bits of kit. Expensive, but very nice bits of kit. So that's a little bit of an overview. And yeah, when we were measuring the bores, we use can't show you now, but imagine that's a bore. We would use that inside. For those that don't know, these are sprung loaded. I'll show you. They're sprung loaded, look. So we hold it together like that, and then we release it in the bore, and then tighten the nut at the end. Then that will keep to the size of the bore, and then we can measure it with a micrometer. And with a bit of practice, you can certainly measure tenths of a thou quite easily. So yeah, so that's pretty much the job. I've just got to push this in now, and we're done, really. I think it was quite a big job. I wasn't really set up for it, but we managed it in the end. That's it for now. So there we are, the bush is now pressed in there. Not sure if I'll be able to show you. You can just see the grease hole there, so when the grease is put in there, it comes out of this hole, and then it will pack the bearing and the shaft to lubricate it, and this whole void here will fill with grease and spins nicely. That's the hard part, getting it to spin nicely. Any out of alignment on either of these two, and that will lock solid. So there we are, we're all done.